Hello and welcome everybody. Wow, we've got some good acoustics in this room. I think this is the first time we've had a speaker in here. So, my name is Steve Boggs and I'm the chair of the physics department. And on behalf of the students, the faculty, the staff, and the university, I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone that's joined us here tonight. It's hard to believe that we're actually here. This room has been an interesting challenge to get done. It's a fabulous new space. Our students have already been enjoying this room for about 2 weeks now. It's wonderful to walk around and see the chalkboards being used, to see the Society for Physics students in their office across the hallway. Just for history, this room, these series of rooms used to belong to John Reynolds' lab. So John Reynolds was a faculty member here who studied techniques for dating the Earth and the solar system. And so this series of rooms were John Reynolds' labs. And then over the last decade or so, they've been sort of used for temporary purposes coming in and out. So we're glad to finally have this opportunity to dedicate these to a very important purpose, which is a home for our undergraduate students to better their education. As you can see, we've made a few improvements from the old reading room if you went on the tour or if you have experience with the old reading room. We have lots of electrical outlets, which is actually important these days. We have a very good wireless connection in here if you didn't get a chance to use it. And we even have air conditioning. So if you've ever spent any time in the old reading room, it's about the hottest room in the entire campus, I think. So this is a major improvement. We also have chalkboards, so not whiteboards, but chalkboards, and that was specifically at the request of the students. So we are kind of like these old-fashioned chalkboards in here. They kind of give a sense of history to the room. Who funds the chalk? To be determined. You can talk to me afterwards. Good naming opportunity. Another, I think, really important factor for locating the room here is that this reading room now provides a welcoming space to new students as soon as they walk through the front door. So this is, I think, a major improvement, not just to the reading room, but also to the physics building and the physics complex as a whole. So I'm really happy about the entire development here with this room. What you see here today is the culmination of a great team effort by many people in this room. And I wish I could take credit for this room, but the vision really started with our Dean of Math and Physical Sciences and the former chair of the department, Frances Hellman. With space issues threatening to close the old reading room, Frances understood the value of community space for students, and she fought hard to keep that room open and to keep it remaining as a student study space. Then she did the groundwork creating the vision for what's this new reading room here and what that could mean for our students. So let me introduce her now and personally thank her for her vision, her work, and her support on behalf of our students and for this incredible room, our Math and Physical Sciences Dean, Frances Hellman. So welcome, Frances. Thank you.
So welcome to everybody. Thank you, Steve. And of course, my job now is to tell you about all the great things that Steve did, because it's really his vision that has made this come to be. So, but I do want to thank you on behalf of both myself and of the Division of Mathematical and Physical Sciences and the College of Letters and Sciences. And so welcome and thank you. As past chair of the department, and I know Steve also sees this all the time, one of the many things you have to deal with that, trust me, you are not trained as you get your PhD to deal with, is space issues. And so this is space for the faculty, space for the students, space for the labs, space for collaborations, space for interactions. There is constant pressure to find enough space for everything. And so these are rather tricky negotiations, and I'm very excited that through all the space crunches that we went through in the department, both during my time and more recently under Steve's time, that we've held on to this, the need for this reading room space, this space for the undergraduates. It's been acknowledged for quite a while that this was a priority for the department, and I know many people are going to be thanked. I want to particularly thank Eleanor Crump, who worked with me a lot back when I was chair and continues to work on this to help reserve this space and to make it possible for it to be here today. Steve Boggs, our current physics chair, did just an amazing job of turning this vision into a reality. It's a true reflection of the way he prioritizes our students. I can't even imagine how many meetings were involved in making this happen. And I just want to thank him for the tremendous care and attention he paid to making sure that this room really was perfect for our undergraduates. So, I just have to give a round of applause for Steve. I also want to add that this is the first among many projects that you'll hear about on campus where we're trying to address the needs of the undergraduates. Some of you may have heard something called the Undergrad Initiative. The idea is that we're trying to address rather big picture questions about curriculum, advising, housing, research, and general support. A place as simple as a big room to solve problem sets like this, or, can make a tremendous difference in the lives of students who need community and need assistance. And so this room represents really a lot more than just a place to solve problem sets. It's really an expression of the importance of community and of working together and collaborating. And so this room is really far more than just a space to do homework in. So I really want to thank all of you who gave to this great effort, and I know a lot more is going to be said about Professors Harry Bingham and Ron Shen, as well as our alumnus, Brian Pugh. So I will just say that I'm really delighted that they're being honored here. I think it's great that our students come to know the people who came before them and who really helped to pave their way. And so with that, I will turn I'm not sure who I'm introducing, but, oh good, I will turn the stage back to Steve.
Thank you again, Frances. So we thought it'd be helpful while you sit at your tables and figure out how to fold your airplanes, which will become important later, so keep that up. We thought we would give you an armchair tour of both this space and its features. So I mentioned the blackboards. So our students told us that blackboards was their #1 priority in here. So we tried to put as many as we possibly could in this room. So they insisted on old-fashioned chalkboards and not on whiteboards. When we spoke to our alumni about this new project, many shared wonderful memories of this room, late-night study sessions, some anecdotes we could share and some anecdotes we could not. But it seems fitting to have one of those alumni share a bit with you about what life was like back in the day, I guess. Please welcome Michael Doyen, who, along with his roommate, Thomas Brennan Marquez, remembers doing quite a few problem sets in the old reading room. So, Michael?
Good evening. I'm Mike Doyen. My only connection to this place is I was very excited to hear about it. I was recently a student here in using astronomical units. When my college roommate and I were sitting back here, Tom, we decided that the thing that we absolutely had to have to solve physics problems was a giant chalkboard in our own apartment. And neither of us can remember how we got this 4x8 sheet foot of masonite into our apartment, but we did. And nowadays you can find chalkboard paint on Amazon. I have no idea how we found that in 1976 or so. But we did, and we made a great chalkboard. We jerry-rigged some kind of rack. We put chalk there, and I was trying to figure out roughly how much time we spent there. I think, 1,000 hours, 10 hours a week for 2 years, that comes out roughly about right, probably a little more than that, but 1,000 hours in front of that chalkboard. And I think I took away from that 3 life lessons that have stayed with me ever since. One is the power of collaboration. Doing homework with somebody else, 2 brains collaborating is so much amazingly more powerful than two brains doing something by themselves. The two of you solving a problem together is really extraordinary. The second thing that's really stayed with me as a result of staring so long at that chalkboard was the beauty and the power of really understanding something so deep that the mathematics themselves become just obvious and part of your DNA. And when you understand things like that, there's I don't know, you're untouchable. You can take that anywhere in life. And I have continued to strive for that, even though I haven't stayed in physics. That discipline, that approach, I want to understand this deeply as humanly possible, has stayed with me all my life. And I think I learned that here. And the final life lesson I think I learned from spending 1,000 hours at our chalkboard was that with the most intense experiences are the best if you spend them with your best friend, as I did. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, all of you, for putting together this great place, and I hope a few students take what we took from our chalkboard. Thank you.
So we've been looking for that chalkboard since the 70s, so if you want to bring it back, no questions. So I want to take just a second to introduce our student tour guides today. So if the tour guides could stand up, Maya, Joe, Adam, Eli, Garo, and I lost my place, Anastasia, of course. All of our students are members of the Society for Physics Students, or SPS, and the room across the hallway, which you can see if you look out that back door, is now the dedicated SPS office. And it's named after Brian Pugh, the first SPS chapter president here at Berkeley, and in 1984, a physics graduate. You guys can sit if you want, so thank you. So, although Brian's no longer with us, we're joined today by his sister, Robin Pugh. Thank you for joining us, Robin. And his widows and children they're on their way. So fingers crossed that we get to see them before the end of the celebration. So I think Brian would be pleased to know that our chapter of SPS just won the title of Outstanding Chapter for the second year in a row by the National Society for Physics Students office. And that's a true testament to not only what Brian started here in the department, but the dedication of our students who are now involved. I'd like to welcome our current Society for Physics student presidents to tell us a little bit more, and that's Anastasia. Please, Anastasia.
Hi everyone, my name is Anastasia. I'm a senior in physics here at UC Berkeley, and I'm really excited to talk to all of you. I'm currently the president of the Society of Physics Students, which is the one and only undergraduate physics club on campus. The Society of Physics Students has provided a really amazing space for me as an undergraduate, an amazing community that I wouldn't have had otherwise. When I was a freshman and a sophomore, physics was really intimidating. You don't know anyone other than the people in your classes, and the people in your classes seem scary and unapproachable. But then you come to this club, to the meetings, and you realize that you're part of a big community where everyone is struggling on the problem sets, and you realize it's okay to struggle. But the Society of Physics Students has had a really long history here at UC Berkeley, and as Steve mentioned, it all started with Brian Pugh. And with that, I would like to read a couple of words from Amy Johnson, who was his lab partner throughout his career here as a student in physics, and also one of the co-founders of the Society of Physics Students back in the 80s. And here are her words. She said, SPS was really Brian's baby. He did all the work of applying to the national governing body for recognition. He started SPS because he was proud of being a physicist and wanted his fellow students to have an organization that would support them. We were one of the few departments that did not have a student association, and Brian saw how that left many students isolated. In contrast, the Computer Science Undergraduate Association, of which I was president, was quite active in everything from providing study resources to social gatherings. In the CS department, students were a tribe. Brian wanted that feeling of belonging in the physics department. Physics was about connections to other physicists, to other people's ideas, to earlier research. He felt that there would be better students and better scientists if we were better connected to one another. One thing he always wanted was a space dedicated to SPS, where students could study and socialize. It was important to him that all students had support, so he would be very proud to know that SPS now has a dedicated space, and I'm sure quite honored to find his name on the plaque. So those were the words from, once again, Amy Johnson, who was his lab partner and one of the co-founders of SPS. And I would like to say a couple of words about the state of the SPS chapter in the current years. Over the years since its foundation, SPS has died down and revived back, depending as the students come and go. But in the recent years, we've been very active. We are part of a national organization of the Society of Physics Students, which currently is actually international because there are now chapters in countries like China and the Philippines. So the mission of the National Society of Physics Student Organization is SPS exists to help students transform themselves into contributing members of the professional community. Coursework develops only one range of skills. Other skills needed to flourish professionally include effective communication and personal interactions, leadership experience, establishing a personal network of contacts, presenting scholarly work in professional meetings and journals, and outreach services to the campus and local communities. And this national mission is something that our chapter has really fulfilled, as can be deduced from our award of Outstanding Chapter for the second year in a row. We've run a series of programs that help undergraduate students integrate into the community, the physics community at large. We run a faculty student lunch program, which is very popular, in which undergraduates can sit down at a table in an informal setting and talk to one of their professors or a PhD scientist about their research and about how they got into physics and what kind of challenges they face. We run barbecues that bring together all levels of people involved in the physics department, from administrators to graduate students to professors to us undergraduates. We do a lot of outreach. We recently started doing outreach to local high schools and middle schools. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a group of students volunteer at a local middle school science fair and encourage kids to get excited about physics and do some hands-on physics things. We volunteer at the Bay Area Science Festival to do physics demos. We volunteer at the Expanding Your Horizons conference for middle school girls to do hands-on science experience with them. So we do a lot of outreach, and we also do a lot of outreach effort within our own undergraduate community to help everyone feel welcome in physics and develop a sense of community, which was something that in Amy's letter was emphasized. Brian had a vision for SPS as the community, the undergraduate community within physics, where everyone can talk to each other and collaborate. And this is really what we have become. And I'm really proud to be the chapter president right now, and I really hope that once I graduate, that SPS continues to strive. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Anastasia. So let's start with the room behind me. So the room behind me has special meaning for many of us here today. It's a wonderful new space that's dedicated to Professor Ron Shen. The Ron Shen Common Room was created by the generous help of many of Ron's former students, colleagues, family, and community supporters. Ron is a very prestigious condensed matter physicist and has been on our faculty since 1964. This new space is created in his name, will allow for individual meetings, group collaborations, and interactions critical to scientific discovery. And if you look, the flavor of that room is very different from this room. So I think that room's going to eventually be called the Ron Shen Cafe. But it's much more for intimate discussions and collaborations than this room. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Professor Ron Shen.
Well, our distinguished guests, allow me to have still a little time to express my appreciation of this room with my name on. It's a great honor for me to attend this opening ceremony. I should first thank Peter Yu, who initiated this project. Unfortunately, he cannot attend this meeting, this ceremony. I should also thank Peter and Susan Horton for getting the project going and successfully completed. Well, we have, actually, when Peter first came to me with the idea of this project, my first reaction was, I'm not a very accomplished scientist. My students and postdocs have made me look accomplished. And I haven't really contributed that much to the department. So I probably should not have my name in a room, for a room. And then Peter convinced me that the project is very meaningful and important for the undergraduates. And so I think back of my old days as an undergraduate. I was at a campus that had no interaction place whatsoever under a roof. And it often rained outside. So you could see that I could seldom have any interactions with my fellow students. And I suppose if I could have more interactions at that time, I would become a better physicist. Well, then, throughout my career in Berkeley, the only time I really felt that I was appreciated by the students was in the old undergraduate reading room. And it's one semester I was teaching quantum mechanics, undergraduate quantum mechanics. And one day I went by this reading room and saw a group of students in my class somehow discussing energetically in the room. And so I went in and said, can I help you? You may have some problems. And they were very happy, and they said, of course. We are working on your problem set. So I came in and gave some hint and approach, and of course enough so they could easily work out the problem set. And they were so happy. Well, you know how students hate or love problem sets. And so that was my experience with the reading room. And well, but you know that reading room is supposed to be quiet. And it's not so appropriate for hot, engaged discussions. Therefore, having a room that you can have hot discussions, intimate interactions, and that common room would be a great idea. And that's what I hope the undergraduate students would enjoy in the coming years. So I would like to thank again Peter Yu and Susan Horton for carrying this project from the beginning to the end very successfully. And I should also thank all my friends and colleagues. Their support make this project possible. And of course, I also should thank you for coming to participate in this ceremony. And the Chinese New Year was just over, so I should still wish you a happy New Year of the monkey. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. So despite that humility, I can't imagine anybody who deserves this honor more than you. So thank you for letting us do this in your honor. So When I learned that one of our alums and supporters, Carolyn G., wanted to dedicate the main reading room, so that's this room that we're in, to Professor Harry Bingham, I was completely thrilled. So I knew Professor Bingham, who passed away in 1994. He was a beloved teacher, mentor, and distinguished physicist. He was one of the first faculty members I personally met in Berkeley when I came here for graduate school, and I had the pleasure of being his teaching assistant for several semesters. He joined the department in 1964, which meant he spent 30 years as a dedicated educator. Joining us today are his son, Sanford, Sanford's wife, Diana. Can you guys show yourself here? Maybe stand up. Their children, Aiden and Daphne, stand up if you guys can stay standing up for a second. Also, yeah, she's standing. So also joining us here is Professor Bingham's daughter, Allison, and her son, Riley. And I wanted to thank all of you for being here today. So let's thank them for joining us. Professor Bingham worked in the field of experimental elementary particle physics, and for many years led a Berkeley research group in a series of fundamental experiments that studied the interactions of matter of high-energy neutrinos, photons, and hadrons. He joined our department in fall 1964. Was that the same year you joined? Wow, just caught that. And right from the start, he began a collaboration with Professor W.B. Fretter that was to continue until Fretter's death in 1991. Grace Fretter, his widow, is also with us today, and I hope she can share some great memories of their work and time together. So let's welcome Grace. So I've lost you. There's Grace. Here, you want to raise? Thanks, Grace, for joining us today. That's okay. No, you can stay. Let's thank Grace for joining us today. There's nothing more satisfying to an educator than to have a student feel that you made a difference in their life. Without further ado, please welcome our alum, Carolyn G., who can share more about this extraordinary man, Professor Harry Bingham. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thanks everyone for being here. This is quite a big, audience, and especially Harry's children and grandchildren. Really appreciate it, and my husband as well, Hank Blauvelt, who's sitting here, and Maria. I just really want to acknowledge all your hard work, letting me know about this naming opportunity as well. So, thank you. So I want to say a few words about why Harry Bingham is so special to me. I grew up in Fresno, which is a small rural community in the Central Valley. And so when I started at Berkeley, entered Berkeley, I was quite intimidated by this great university. And I started out as a chemistry major, going down the path of, pre-med, like so many students. And, luckily, as a chemistry major, I was required to take the Physics 4 series course, which was the same physics course series that was required for physics majors. And Professor Harry Bingham taught that course. He was just such a likable, friendly, and great mood, fun professor. And I remember the wave mechanics course that I took. He had more fun, I think, than we did with the pendulums and the slinkies and et cetera. And even though, he was this illustrious professor, he just, was not arrogant. And I remember, this is why I see Allison, I remember he came in one day with a broken leg. And, we said, how did you do this? And he said he was trying out his daughter's new skateboard. And he broke his leg. And so we thought to ourselves, because at that time, for our age group, we knew how to ride skateboards down hills. It didn't matter. We weren't going to break our legs. But here's this professor that's going to break his leg. So, his approachable personality just made it really easy for me to have the confidence to ask questions, in physics, and also to learn to love physics. And so, he was really instrumental in me switching my major from chemistry to physics. And I just really enjoyed that time, going to physics. And so at the end of my sophomore year, I went to him and just wanted to ask him about his research work. And so he took me upstairs to his lab, his area, and he showed me these films of tracks made made by high energy particles in a bubble chamber. And then he invited me to be part of his research group as an undergraduate. And so at the time, he guided me through to completing my senior thesis. And then he encouraged me and supported me when I said that I wanted to, go to MIT. I applied to MIT and I wanted to change fields. I wasn't going to do high-energy physics and decided to do solid-state physics. And he supported me and helped me, all through that. And it was just wonderful. And so after graduating from MIT, I came back to Berkeley to visit. And he took me to Kip's Pizza. So it was just, he was just a wonderful man. And I told him about, my plans that I was going to go work in industry, not academics, but industry. And he was just, thrilled for me. And so what I did was I went on to work in optoelectronics at Hughes Research Lab, and that's where I met my husband, Hank. And then and continued, so it's like semiconductor lasers and modulators and, all for the broadband and high-speed communication network. And then later, Hank went on to work at a startup company, and a couple of years later, I followed to the same startup company because we had a son and daughter, and it was just much easier, working and living in a small commute to work. And so we worked at the same company for many, many years, and I stopped for a little while. When my son and daughter were teenagers, and then since then, when they're gone to college, I'm back at the workforce, and now, continuing scientific work at a defense and aerospace company, doing device physics and reliability, for the defense industry, Berkeley as well as Harry Bingham, formed the foundation for my early career, and I just, and so that's why I'm here today, to really, honor him for the time that he was my undergraduate advisor. And it made a big difference in my path to where I am today. And, for the time that he advised me and he taught me and he inspired me and he instilled confidence in me. And so I'm very pleased and fortunate to be able to name this room the Professor Harry H. Bingham Room. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a seat. Yeah, just have a seat for a second. We got a special surprise in a minute. Thank you, Carolyn. So one of the really fun things about working in a department with so much history and such an incredible lineage is that we occasionally find new discoveries, or old discoveries in this case, whether it's equipment or notebooks or even furniture. And it's a reminder to us of the legacy that this department embodies. So it was extremely fitting that when we were doing the renovations for this room, we came upon this chair. In fact, it's Harry Bingham's personal faculty chair. So, and I have to say, I'd never heard of a faculty personal chair before. So some of the older faculty can confirm if this was true or not, that the faculty meetings used to have assigned chairs, and faculty were expected to sit in their chairs. Is that true? And you could tell when they weren't there because their chairs were empty. So I'm happy to say this one looks particularly well worn. So I think Harry Bingham, used it well. So this actually turned out in Eleanor Crump's office, who is leading the development of this room here in the department. And Eleanor, as everybody knows, who knows Eleanor, puts her heart and soul in this department, and she really put that into this room as well. So we're really sorry that she's homesick today and not able to make it to this opening. So we also learned that for Harry Bingham's grandchildren, today's event is an opportunity to learn more about their grandfather, who they never met. So Riley, Aiden, and Daphne, we'd like the three of you to be the first to sit in your grandfather's chair, if you're willing to come up. And we like to say this, so the chair will now be permanently housed in this room as well. So do you kids want to come up and here for a minute? So don't be shy. And we got a little present for each of you as well. So go for it, Riley. You know you do. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so stay up here. So come on, Aiden, Daphne. So we also have, for each of you, a copy of a photograph of your grandfather. So this was the official department photograph. So do you want to see? There you go. And this is also the photograph that we are having installed on the wall back here, so to honor Harry's part of this room. So, have a seat. Your grandfather's there. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. And I think that the Bingham family might have their own present to give out today. Is one of you going to come up for that? Please. You can try as well. You've never sat in that chair before.
Isn't that what it means to have a chair? I mean, when you're a professor, I had no idea. It was so literal. But we used to roam around the halls of this building, and it was always kind of dark and dusty, chalky, By the way, if you run your fingers, does it still make that? That's still forbidden. What are the physics of that? But yes, we're very grateful to be here, and very grateful for Grace Freder, without whom we wouldn't be here, and Caroline G., without whom we wouldn't be here. And I'm very impressed by the work that went on, LED lighting. Somebody who just was part of an over-budget, too late housing building project, I'm sure.
Under budget.
Yeah, this is under budget. Very, very beautiful space, and we're very grateful and humbled to have the opportunity to be here and go Berkeley Physics, go Bears.
Yeah, and just so thrilled that the legacy will continue and that the physics department is what it is, and we're sure our father would be very, very proud. So thank you very much. And we have something we'd like to give to you, Carolyn.
Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you.
Somewhere.
Oh, thank you
It's on the side. Oh, thanks. Oh, okay. Okay for you and a car, so. Thank you so much. We're just so grateful. And we're sorry that the rest of the family couldn't be here today, but they all send their greetings and their great appreciation. So, yeah, my mother's in Florida where it's nice and cold right now, and she wishes she were here. And our other brother all the way in Denmark, so a little hard to make it, but they're here in spirit.
Well, he did get a PhD at MIT, just like
Oh, okay, all right.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Cool, but
Very kind.
thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
So we all know the phrase that it takes a village, and that was certainly true for building this space and this project. The road to construction is never easy, and our team battled daily to get this project done. And so I'm really glad to see this finally opening. So I want to start by thanking our alums, friends, and community leaders who generously supported this project financially, allowing us to match and leverage campus funds to make this room a reality. A sign on the back wall, which you can see if you turn your head back there, lists many of these individuals, and some of them are here today. That includes Carolyn G. and Henry Blavelt, William and Makiko Walker, Wei and Lydia Chen, Michael and Denise Doyen, Christina and Richard McKinley, Owen and Toki Oakley, Patrick and Nathan Louie, Alex Shen, Professor Marvin Shen and Susie Cohen, Professor Kambu Luke, and Dean Francis Hellman. So let's thank them for their support in helping us complete this project. As I mentioned before, our department project manager, facility manager extraordinaire, Eleanor Crump, is ill today, so we're really sad that she could not join us. She's really dedicated the last year and a half to getting this room done. So in lieu of this, since we're being videotaped, let's thank Eleanor for her efforts on this project. So, thank you, Eleanor. We love you, Eleanor. Okay, and I'd also like to thank our campus team on this. So, and if you can identify yourself when I call you out. So, Mark Davis, our project manager in the back there, and Brian Joseph, and the amazing Letters and Sciences Facilities office crew. If you guys can raise your hand, we'd appreciate it. So, thank you for joining us today. Nick Peterson, who is a design and construction project manager. Where are you at, Nick? There you are. Thank you. Bill Glass, who's the architect. Did Bill have to leave? I think Bill had to sneak out, so we can thank you, Bill. Keith Reynolds from Rodan Construction, who did most of the construction in this room. Thank you, Keith. And within the department, I'd like to thank Claudia Trujillo, and our, yes, Claudia always deserves applause, and our entire student services staff, as well as department support staff. There's Amin Jazari, Anthony Vuitton, Sarah Whitmer, and many others, including those who don't want to be named, Susan Howden and Maria Helm, who put in long hours to make this room come out just right. So let's thank them all for their help in this. That was not in the script. I was just told. And finally, I'd like to thank our students, especially undergrads, who helped us, and they actually put a lot of work into this room as well, and helping us define how to make this room a success. So thank you for the undergraduates who joined us today. And now I know many of you are wondering what's the deal with these airplanes. Let me reveal that for you. So if you went upstairs to the old reading room and looked up, you might have noticed that the old reading room has airplanes covering the ceiling. Any idea, guesses how many there are up there? I gotta hear numbers. Anybody? 5. We counted them. we couldn't actually change the room without counting them. There's 119. So, and it appears that over the 60-year period of the old reading room, that was a tradition that endured for a very long time. And at Cal Day last year, we celebrated that by asking alumni and visitors to come and make airplanes, and some of them spent hours trying to get airplanes embedded in the ceiling, if you saw it. So, were any of them successful? Yes. Oh, they were. Good. 12 new ones. Excellent. So as you can see, we have a different type of ceiling in here. So that particular tradition of the reading room is unfortunately not going to continue. So, but we have some pretty creative students, and I'm pretty sure they're going to find new ways to celebrate this room differently from the old reading room. So, so while that's going to change, and we're looking forward to new traditions, let's go ahead and let's christen this room with one more time with that old tradition. So on the count of 3, we're going to set sail and shoot for the lights with our new planes. You ready? So if you got your planes, let's see if any of them stick, okay? Everybody, give you a chance. Okay, on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. The fun things you do as chair. So, did any of them stick anywhere? Not a single one. Yes, that's the way we like it. Oh, so close, Ellen. Okay. Oh, that's cheating. See, I told you those students would find a way around it, so. Okay, with that, I want to thank everybody, and the Physics Reading Room and Collaboration Center is now officially open. Thank you, everyone.